Hi everyone, I am back as promised on Monday the 22nd with some paper pumpkin alternatives. This is for the March kit that was called Here's to You in this special box, and I did have fun with this. As you know, we have these new masks that were included. I did cut my sponge up. I have one clean one, but I used the other 5. And what I do is I pull out all the colors that are in the kit, coordinating with, and I used every mask, which you'll see as we go throughout. There were stars, a sun, mountains, and clouds as the masks. I of course used the stamp set for many things. I did bring in a couple other stamp sets, mostly for, well, I'll show you when I go. I do have some of the linen thread left, and I have the mini dimensionals, but that's only because I was using my own other dimensionals, and I will use these once my other sheet is done. And of course the sponges, and then I have 2 card fronts left, which I will be using, and I'll tell you about that at the end. But I do have 2 card fronts left. I have also 2 envelopes left. However, no, I'm sorry, I have 3 envelopes left. These don't cut as good as our paper in our trimmer, let me just tell you that. But I had to change my blade, so anyway, it might have been that. I have 1 envelope liner left. I have 2 of these. I think I have 2 of those. Yes, 2 of those seams left. And I have 1 sheet plus 1, so 4 sets of those trees, and plus this one, so 5 sets of the little trees. And I have a piece of cut envelope, which you'll see on the last project, and I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that as a border with this piece I have left over from the envelope liner. That's going to go on something, but I'm just not there yet. I have this piece left from an envelope liner. I do have that many labels left, quite a few actually. And I still have this many clouds, and I think there's another one in here. Yeah, I do have one more petal pink one. So I have 3 petal pink, 2 of the yellow bumblebee ones, and 1 old olive. And then these are all scraps from card bases and things that I cut up. And there might have been a couple other little tiny scraps that I actually tossed because I figured I'd never use them. So with that, let me show you everything I made. I think the first one's my favorite, so I'll just jump right in and show you the first one. I'm going to do them in the order that I made them. This one was done with stencils. I first took Pretty Peacock on a sponge and just spread it over the sky because I wanted it to be more like a night sky, not so bright, or like dusk perhaps. And then I took the stars stencil, and I tried to make sure, I got one boo-boo here, but I tried to make sure I wasn't going to go down too low. I probably should have done the mountains first, but I did the stars first, and I went with the sponge and bumblebee, and I did it really, I actually pushed hard to get the stars to appear yellow and not like green or something. For the most part, that worked. I wasn't thinking, I have some silver embossing paste that had been in the clearance rack, and I could have used that. Anyway, this is stencil. This is stencil mask, they call them. This is one of the tree pieces. This, I actually... there's a line right here, right, and it sort of looks like water there, but it actually there's another line, and all I did was take another sponge and went over the bottom with old olive, but then I brought in Field of Flowers. Now I was thinking that the stamp in the kit had lots of flowers in it, and I wasn't really looking for flowers here. I was just looking for greenery. Anyway, I used the Field of Flowers and just did it once across, and that might be the only thing I used out of that stamp set. And then this ribbon is the double-sided or reversible ribbon in the annual catalog, and it's Old Olive and Pretty Peacock, so that worked. And I just put that, I wrapped that around this front panel, which was on Whisper White or Basic White. Then this is actually one of the card bases, and I can tell because it's white around the edges, although some of them I took a marker and did something with. And then I put this on an Old Olive card base, A2 card base. I wrapped this around only the white, and then I glued that down. And then this is out of this stamp set, Happy Birthday. I stamped it in Pretty Peacock though, and I did put that up on mini dimensionals. I stamped the birds twice in the sky, although I'm not sure they fly when it's dark out. And I kind of like this, actually, I think should have been, I don't know, darker, but I made them lighter. Anyway, and there's the inside. All the best for a happy, healthy, and prosperous year, because I thought that went well with Happy Birthday. And I just stamped more trees and stamped off. And then I did stamp on the envelope flap, as well as in the bottom corner of that, for that card. So that is my first card, and probably my favorite. Although the next one's pretty nice too. It's just different colorway, and it's very similar to one they showed, but a little different. And hang on, I'll get that paper out because I want you to see that. I did see that, and so I probably got this idea from that sheet. You know, in the kit they had this box of this here. So it's very similar to this, and this, I don't know what paper this is. It might, I think they use flowers and things and stamp their own. And they have the sun going up like on the horizon. I have it shining down on the flowers. So it's high noon here on my card. So it's a little different, and I didn't put a diagonal sentiment and that kind of thing. So what I did is I used the sun stencil, sun up here, off the paper a little bit. I did it in Bumblebee really good, and then I just went around a little bit of the part up here and the sun with Calypso Coral, and that gave it the orangey yellow appearance. And then I actually did go over all of it with the clear Wink of Stella to give it a little shimmer, which you're not going to be able to see on camera, but it is on there. And then this ribbon is in the January to June mini. It's part of the Fine Art Floral Suite, and it's just called Gold. I had an extra piece laying here. Anyway, I don't know what I did with it. Anyway, yeah, it's that ribbon. And I did use some of that going across. This is part of, oh, here it is, this here. So you can see it up front. It has gold like through a natural sort of a flax kind of thing. Anyway, very pretty. This is part of an envelope liner. I put the white with the envelope liner on Calypso Coral, and then that's all on Bumblebee. These are the layering circles, and I did this in Calypso Coral. And then this stamp is actually out of, this is in the annual catalogs, as was Field of Flowers, the current annual. Sending You Sunshine is what I used, because I immediately thought of that with the sun. And then these are those, and I'm going to use them again, so I'm not going to repeat myself, but those are the sequins from Artistry Blooms, and they are Calypso Coral. And I put 3 on, one here, here, and here. So that's the outside of that card. And then inside, Hoping Your Day is Perfect is also out of Sending Sunshine. And I stamped that in Bumblebee, backed it on Calypso Coral. And the envelope has an envelope liner, and that matches the paper, and that's all I did on that one. All right, and then the next one is the last stencil one I did. and I just did the clouds, and I used the Whisper White craft ink that we have. Now, instead of using a sponge, I actually did use a finger dauber, which Stampin' Up! Does sell also in packs of 5, I believe. Let me see. I have one here, 1, 2, yeah, 5. They're in the annual catalog. They're number 133773, sponge daubers. And I have one I keep for the white. And oops, and that's what I did. I sponge daubed the Whisper White, which that comes with a stamp pad and a refill, and you do have to refill it sort of often. And then what I did here is I used a Pretty Peacock card base. This is a piece of Seaside Spray. That was one of the colors. I didn't use a white background, so I did the white ink on the Seaside Spray. That way I didn't have to waste ink coloring a background. I put some old olive on the bottom part way up, and this stamp is from the kit, and I think I did it like 2.5 or 2 3/4 times. I did have a scrap paper under, and then this sentiment is from the kit. And then what I did is I cut a piece of the Pretty Peacock scallop linen ribbon to be the right length, and I cut it down the middle, and then I put seal on the back of this, and then I carefully glued the front part of the trim onto the back part of the label, if you will, and I put that all up on actually it's up on adhesive sheets. I had a strip that went the whole length, and so I just used that. This is doubled up linen thread from the kit to make a bow. And then inside, because I had just Seaside Spray here, I actually put Seaside Spray down and just put a little bit of old olive in the corner with one of the images from the set, and I didn't put any other sentiment in. And then the envelope, I kind of did the same thing. In the corner, a little old olive with the Pretty Peacock stamp of flowers. So I thought that came out. Now those are my the Whisper White envelopes, not the craft ones. And this one also used Seaside Spray as a card base this time. Oh, that other one, the card base is from the kit. It's the Pretty Peacock, but it's white inside, so that was one of the card bases from the kit. Sorry, I might not have mentioned that. Okay, but this is now Seaside Spray cardstock. I cut another piece of Seaside Spray cardstock, and I ran it through the Pinewood Planks embossing folder, which is number 152320. I have the old one, but the new number is this. And I went around the edges of it with the Pretty Peacock Stampin' Right marker, the brush end, just to give it a little pop against the background. This is cut out of the card that had, it was all petal pink. I'll get you the 2 card bases. So here are the 2 card bases that came with the kit. And what I did is I cut this out with a layering square that wasn't scalloped, and then I cut the next bigger size out in Pretty Peacock, and I layered it like a picture. I did put one of the trees down on here that came in the kit. The congratulations came in the kit, and then this is from the Stitch So Sweetly dies, which I don't have out anymore, but the smallest 2. This is the smallest one, and then this is the next biggest one. And I thought it went good with the scallop background there. I wrapped the twine around 3 times, I'm sorry, the thread around 3 times, just the wood panel. And then these are both bumped up on dimensionals, and that corner is kind of glued in. And then I didn't have any Pretty Peacock or Seaside Spray dots, but these are the navy dots. But because they have like an iridescence to them, I thought they looked alright with this, so I put 3 of those on. They're in the annual catalog, I believe. I think. Pretty or they're carried over from last holiday catalog. And then inside I just put here's to you, so congratulations, here's to you, and then the birds. I did go around the white piece I put in here, which is from, it's Whisper White, with Pretty Peacock Stampin' Right again. And then on the envelope I also put birds and trees and birds. So that is card number 4. Now I really like this design, so I did make another one, but it comes later because I'm doing these in order. The next one is a shaker card. I had the top of the envelope flap plus a little that I had cut apart for one of the second card, I think, for this one. So this was like the bottom part, most of it, and then this actually curves in here. You can barely see it. So what I did is I figured out, oh, and this is actually the back of the piece I cut this out of. Remember, it was petal pink. So this is actually that turned upside down, has the frame out here. And I ran it through the textile one. I forget the names. Tasteful Textile 3D embossing folder. Love this one. Love it, love it. Better stay around. I hope. Anyway, so yeah, that's the back of the card, and then this is part of that same envelope liner. And then these are carried over from the last 2020 August to December mini, or they're coming back, I'm not sure which. And I used mostly, they come in green, metallic, orange, and red. I used mostly orange here, which is like orange and metallic, and I put just a touch of green in there, and I did that because the background paper has green, so yeah. Then Happy Birthday is out of Peaceful Moments, because I wanted something round I could put there instead. So that is this Happy Birthday sentiment out of Peaceful Moments. And let me move these out of the way, sorry. And I put that on, this is a 1.5 inch circle punch that's in the annual catalog. And this is out of the, I'm going to get the name wrong, so I want to just tell you right. And I use these an awful lot too. Tasteful Labels Dies. It's the largest double stitch circle. And the 1.5 inch circle punch fits exactly in that. This is actually terracotta tile ribbon from the Ornate Garden combo pack. It comes with Old Olive and terracotta tile, but I thought it was close enough to Calypso Coral, which is what's in the background. And how I did this, because I didn't have a whole sheet of that from the envelope paper, I had enough that it would go across all the way this way, but it just barely fit. In fact, it's a little bit shy up here. So I figured out where to put it so it would line up with the window, right? But I put it on a piece, which you can kind of see, of Bumblebee, because I thought like you wouldn't be able to tell, and I can barely see it myself, that there's a little sliver of Bumblebee showing up there. And you can't see it at the bottom. And then of course I put that up on Stampin' Up's adhesive strips. I put them, you know, in around here. I did use a both the powder thing, this thing, and then I thought maybe it left too much powder, so somebody else had said use a piece of dryer sheet. So I tried that. I used both, and it does pretty good. So I'm happy with that. I forgot to put some other bling out here. And then inside I had this little sliver of this paper left, so I just stuck it in the corner, and I did stamp all the best for a happy, healthy, and prosperous year on Whisper White. And then on the envelope, you can see this is Whisper White, and that's the white on the other part. I used Calypso Coral and just stamped those flowers. So that's what I did for that one. Practicing on those cards. The next one, I went a different direction. This is on Calypso Coral, but this is the other envelope liner. So I cut a strip. This, I think, was, I'm pretty sure this was a piece of one of the other, oh, it was the back of the card this came out of. So this white and this were the front of this right here, and this piece here is the back, but I ran it through the subtle embossing folder, another favorite, and that one is number 151775 now, I believe. I love the subtle 3D embossing folder also. So that's what I did on there, and then I put another piece of Calypso Coral, the strip of the envelope liner, and I stamped Happy Birthday on one of the labels, and then this is out of the Hippo and Friends, I believe it's called. One second. Hippo and Friends dies, yes, they are number 153585, and it's this little one right here. There's two larger ones, but I didn't use them. And then these are those same sequins that are in the annual catalog, and they're part of Artistry Blooms adhesive back sequins. And then inside I just put a strip of the envelope paper and a sheet of white and no other sentiment. Actually, I might have used the mango ones. There's Calypso Coral and there's Mango Melody, and those I did. These are actually Mango Melody. They look a little different on the Calypso Coral versus off, but I thought they showed up better on the Calypso Coral than the actual Calypso Coral. Plus, I have more of them, and I thought they went all right with the Bumblebee as well. Oops, I just knocked one off. So I'm really starting to like those sequins now that they're almost done. I just had a little strip of that paper from cutting off here somewhere, maybe the other side. And so I put that on the front of the envelope, and the inside has another one, because that actually really does match that, right? So that is that card. A couple more things. This one uses that card front that came in the kit. I backed it on my own Pretty Peacock. Put it onto a Seaside Spray card front, and I wrapped the Seaside Spray scallop linen trim. I have all this ribbon I gotta use up, guys. Around, and then this actually was a scrap. I don't know if you can tell. It's where the flap was, not the flap, the bend in the card. When I cut them down, I had like a 1/4 inch on this side and a 1/4 inch on this side. That's what that Pretty Peacock strip is. Then this is one of the punch outs, old olive strips, and then this is one of the labels, and I did stamp Here's to You and Pretty Peacock. The ribbon is glued down on the front and around the back of both of these pieces before I glue them down. And then this is up on dimensionals, and I really had to kind of push it for a while to get it to stay. It kept wanting to like turn a little bit, but it's okay now. And then I did stamp the little birds up here, and inside, just may your journey through life take you to many new and exciting places. And the little birds I stamped in Seaside Spray. And then on the envelope on this one, I have the birds, and I put yellow flowers because there's yellow flowers on the card. So that's that one, pretty easy one. And then the last card I have, I went back to that Pinewood plank style because I really liked it. But as you can see, I changed the direction, and this I used a piece of envelope and ran it through the Pinewood plank. So the actual craft envelopes, I actually do not recommend you doing that because the Pinewood planks is a really deep emboss, and it actually did start to tear the paper in a couple little spots you can't really see. But yeah, and this time I did the scene on Calypso Coral, same down here, and I stamped in, in Calypso Coral, and then these are the Calypso Coral sequins, and this is the linen thread from the kit, wrapped 3 times, and then I just tied a little bow, a double bow. This one I tied a single bow, and I did tack them down with a single, I have a thing under there but it keeps moving anyway, a single glue dot in both cases. And then on the inside, this one has "Here's to You." Yeah, they both do. That one doesn't have any paper on it. This has a tiny strip of this that I had to cut off, and that is right there. So I like that too. I like them both. Let me know which one of those is your favorite, the blue or the Calypso. I can't decide. And actually on this one I didn't put the trees. I just now noticed that, but I think it looks okay without them. Anyway, those are the cards, and then I had some scraps left. I had a piece of envelope. I had a piece of envelope liner. This is another piece of envelope, and then these are 2 strips. And this was another piece of this envelope, as were the, I'll tell you, I used scraps. This was all from these card portions. And this was the majority of that. So I put down the petal pink card, part of the craft envelope, part of the envelope liner. This I stamped in Old Olive, and then I punched it out with the rectangular postage stamp, which is 152709 in the annual catalog. I think it's low inventory if it's not already on back order. So I did stamp the birds in Pretty Peacock on this, and then I just put 2 of the punch outs here. This I actually had stamped way back when I did the second card, this one, and I used the different label punch, which I can never remember the name of. It is the, I don't know, here it is, Everyday. Yeah, Everyday label punch 144668, but I didn't like it on this card, so I saved it. I had it in my Sending Sunshine stamp kit, stamp box. So I saved it, and I went to pull out that stamp I thought, well, I'll send this box and have little note cards or something in it to someone. And so Sending You Sunshine, and when I opened the stamp kit, there that was, and I thought, whoa, look at that, it fit perfectly in that strip. So that's what I did, but I did take my Bumblebee Stampin' Right and went around the edges of it first just to give it a little something. And then it's like I had all this bare space, so I again used the Mango Melody sequins from that. And here I punched that out of a piece of leftover craft envelope, cut it in half, and glued it top and bottom to give it a border at the top and bottom. And it went down that way to the green here and a little above this other strip here. And then this is not from the kit. It is left over from a previous paper pumpkin kit, but I don't know which one. And I just have a bag here of a couple things of retired stuff, and I'm almost done this, so I'm trying to use it up. It's a heavier twine, and I thought it worked better on a box because a box is going to get more usage, I think, than a card may. So those are my alternatives. So I have 1 box decorated, and 1, 2, 3, oops, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 card alternatives. These 3 are stenciled, and these 3 are not. And then a shaker and this sort of easier one. So 3, 6, 7, 8 alternatives, plus we did on the Make as Intended, we did the 2 from the kit as intended. So those are all my projects. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be glad to try and help you make whichever one you're trying to make and not figuring out or something. Let me turn it up a little bit so everything's in frame. A lot of fun, just like last month. I still have a few bits left, and I will probably be using them to make some cards to go in here, but they will be note card sized, because I believe Stampin' Up's note cards fit. This is, by the way, Stampin' Up's mini paper pumpkin box. We have the mini pizza box too, but this is the mini paper pumpkin box. It just pops open here. And yeah, so I'm pretty sure the note cards fit in here. So I'm going to be making a set of 4 note cards probably with what I have left. And I'll pop them in there and send them off to somebody at some point. Thank you so much for watching and putting up with the long video again. Okay, bye for now everyone. Have a great day.